Oh, really?
You took that?
No. Like run a marathon.
That's great.
That's the only marathon in Myanmar.
Wow. When is it?
Last week.
That was last week.
Yeah.
And then next week, I'll run the first mile.
Yeah, exactly.
Do your part.
Excellent. Well, we'll introduce you to Free Reign. But get coffee.
Yeah. We're going to start in 5 minutes. So who's going to be on stage?
Don, what do you think? Should we all get up there just for Q&A?
I'm thinking about it. Well, I thought if you're doing some intros, it's probably good to have a few. So I charted. It's running a bit late. There's some issue with it being here. But also let me up on the second bit there. Just send a message to board delicious.
Okay, so they the Japanese. Where everybody else knows the people that they're working with for 20 years went to college with them and like, oh, they're going to get more right. He's like, I'm meeting everyone for the first time and trying to like assess risk in you.
Yeah. No, he's good. Don't worry.
Yeah, so sit up there to start. Just so that you can introduce him to us and you can and then I'll come up and come down. Doctor?
Yeah. What's been able to think about starts?
Yeah, let's see if it'll change.
Yeah, let's do it.
You're special. You're special. Got two.
She put it together, so. Is the mic on? I'm not used to using PCs.
Yeah.
How do I get this thing?
Would we do the PC Mac thing?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, let's put it. Roll that up. Yeah. That's your. Oh. I see one. So, full screen.
Is the mic on?
Yeah, everything's on, and then just press escape to get out of the thing.
All right, thank you. My name is Brendan O'Donoghue. I think I've emailed with most of you. And thank you for coming out today for the Industrializing Myanmar, the first deep sea port for the domestic market event. This is an exciting time in Myanmar, as I think most people in this room know. Some of you have been investing there, working there for years, and others are just looking at it now. My firm, Park Advisors, originally met Mr. Thurain and APCOL about a year ago, and we searched the globe. We're a small firm, but we look for the most important projects that will have a big effect on populations in countries like Myanmar. And we try and have these projects at the highest environmental and ethical standards possible, which, as many of you know, is often quite hard. So we felt very lucky by finding a partner like APCOL. We have taken them around DC, as my partner JP, and thoroughly vetted them with people in the US government at the highest levels, also with law firms. And so I think you can be confident that you'll have quite a good partnership with them if you decide to go that way. The purpose of this event is we are working on a deep sea port, and it is quite early. It's pre-feasibility study right now. But we wanted to have this event because we wanted to have not a top-down process where you have the project sponsor say exactly how it's going to be, but to have input from various experts and you give feedback to us about what we should do. Because as we've done projects in the past before, you really need diverse viewpoints and figure out what is the best thing to do, because it's quite complicated. So we wanted to talk to you early to be able to get and put together a consortium for a successful project. So Mr. Thurain will speak first and give his opening remarks. I'm then going to give an overview of the project at a very high level, just so you have an understanding of what we're trying to do. My partner will then give the process, so the timeline and the direction that we're going to go, so you understand where we want to be in a year from now, and 2 years from now, and even 2 months from now. Then we will have Navitas Resources come up First, Jeremy Wilcox will give a presentation on the macro view of Myanmar and how it is to do business there for those of you who either it's their first time in and also for more experienced investors as well. Then Professor Tom James will give an introduction and an overview of the oil and gas markets in the country, the opportunity and a risk analysis of the project. Then have Mr. Thurain will then conclude with the vision for this project and how it will fit into the broader transformation that's taking place in Myanmar right now. And then we will have some questions and answers and have one-on-ones during lunch. So please let us know if you'd like to have one-on-ones, and we can sign you up for certain time slots. And if we can't fit everyone in today, we'll do it later in the afternoon or later this week. So I'd like to introduce you to Mr. Thurain, the Chairman and CEO of APCOL.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, I'd like to thank you all for coming here and giving me your time, for coming and attend to understand the report that we are going to develop in Myanmar. And for that, we have done a lot of jobs for many years. We started to get this project very transparent and clean and to get protect our interests and also the investor interests. So that's why we try to get contact with many law firms and then try to get, and understand the international market and try to lobby everywhere not to get any problem to kick up the project. So please relax and listen to my colleagues that they're going to explain in detail the up-to-date situation in Myanmar. And after that, we declare to meeting each other who are interested in this project. We are ready to explain. So thank you for that.
Always have to learn how to use a PC again.
We can do the PC Mac discussion again. Okay.
All right, thank you. So I'm just going to give you a brief overview of the project, and then my colleagues in Navitas will take it into greater detail. So, as I think everyone in this room knows, Myanmar is one of the fastest growing countries in the world right now, in the fastest growing region of the world, bordering India and China with a massive coastline and a fairly large-scale population, about 55 million people or so. So it's an exciting time. The country lacks deep sea port near its major operation centers, and it's reliant really on ports that are upriver in the Yangon. And the other proposed or currently operating deep sea ports in Myanmar really primarily benefit for foreign nations, either China or Thailand. And so we really, the focus of this is for the Myanmar market. This will include oil and gas terminal facilities and future iterations of large-scale industrial area. But we're open to suggestions from you about what makes the most sense. We believe the port's going to reduce fuel costs throughout the country and then really serve as an industrial anchor for Myanmar. And it's very rare. It's only in countries like Myanmar where you really have an opportunity like this where you can industrialize an entire part of the country. I think there's a few opportunities left like this in the world. And then, as I said, APCOL is Singapore-based. They're really an established Myanmar business. Mr. Thurain has been doing business there for 40 years with international companies like Dow Chemical and Eli Lilly. And we've thoroughly vetted them, so I know for a lot of international partners, that's always a big concern in these markets. I used to handle deal structuring for the Pentagon in very difficult areas of the world, in conflict zones. And so I spent a lot of time looking into different companies and who you work with and where the money actually goes. And we feel quite confident in APCOL. So the project objectives there. We really are trying to create a bottom-up process. We do not want to tell you exactly what we want to do. There's so many different expertise in this room that we want to be able to pull from. And I really think that's a differentiator between this and other projects that we've seen. And I think it's a better way to go. Because instead of us telling you what we're going to do and being be wrong with a thesis early. We're going to pull information from you and determine what makes the most sense. And we're going to do it early. We're in the pre-feasibility stage right now. But this project we think can really move fast. We want to get a smaller section of work up within 2 years, which is quite fast. Prove the model and expand this to something massive. So the initial focus is on oil and gas. Like I said, we really plan to expand possibly containers or to other things in the near term. It's important to work with the new government right now. It's an exciting time with historic elections in the country, and this really wants this to be a flagship project for Myanmar. So the current model that we're looking at is a 50-10-10-5 build and transfer model. So quite a long time. And again, we're trying to really do this the highest ethical, social, and environmental standards possible. We want to help industrialize a region of the country or valley, and then help really build the country. So this is an incredibly exciting project for us. I think this picture sums up the way a lot of people feel, especially in the country right now, Myanmar. I mean, the timing really couldn't be better right now for this project. 2012, a lot of sanctions were lifted, but with the country really opening up to the international market, I think a lot more money will be coming in from groups like the World Bank, Asian Development Bank for infrastructure around the country, more financing will be available, and we really see massive potential right now. So here's, for those who aren't that familiar with Myanmar, this is the map of the country. Population about 54.5 million people, GDP is around 65 billion. Last year, we were around 8.5%, and it's projected, we think, in 2016 from the World Bank, around 6.5%. Now, the per capita GDP, which I think is incredible, is forecasted to grow at over 50% in the next 5 years, to around $1,800 per capita. And we're going to see by 2020 expected doubling of the middle class. Again, one of the few countries in the world you can see growth like this. But I think those who spend time there understand the country really lacks energy infrastructure. It's still quite a poor country. It has one of the lowest electrification rates in the world. Only a third of the country has access to reliable electricity. A quarter, access to reliable electricity, and only a third actually have electricity at all. Massive pent-up demand for fuel. And from 14 to 15, it grew up by almost 50%. And we consider the growth rate to increase dramatically as well in the future. Infrastructure is some of the least infrastructure in any place on the planet, 133 out of 155. And current ports that exist, most of it's through Yangon, are upriver, they're shallow. And it really is a huge hindrance to the country to bring things at a decent transportation cost. And you can see on the bottom right the GNI per capita. A country like Myanmar, surrounded in such a fast-growing region, much as wealthier region, will be able to leapfrog a lot of the new technologies, things that have been done in other countries, Vietnam, for instance, Malaysia, and be able to adapt. And it should continue to grow at a faster rate, just the basic economic principles of being able to be a slower growth region and get a lot of the overflow from the other countries. So I think it's going to continue for quite a long time. Now is a good time to get in. So looking at the other deep sea ports in the country, you can see in the north, the Chinese-backed SEZ deepwater port is really designed for China. It's going across the country. The U.S., we said, China sees Myanmar as their California and their coast to get things to Western China. But it's not really for the Yangon market or for the Myanmar market. Philippa, which is the new SEZ up the Japanese and the Japanese luxury-backed by JICA, is it's upriver. It's like the port of Yangon, it's shallow. So while I think it has a lot of exciting opportunities for light industry and for the near future, long term, I think it's really important to have a deep water port to be able to really have the country industrialized. And speaking with groups like the Asian Development Bank, the World Bank, they're quite excited about the possibility of a deep water port and help industrialize the country. It's also right now with the election of Aung San Suu Kyi, a lot of the international community really wants to see some success in Myanmar. So I think there's going to be a lot more money that goes in projects like this, either through finance from DFIs, other financial institutions, and also just infrastructure money and grants to the country. I think it's the way in South, which is taking quite a long time to get up, it's really for Bangkok. It's not for Yangon or Myanmar market. So there's an opportunity here to fill the niche, and we plan to fill it here in the Irrawaddy region. This will be the Niue Bay Deep Sea Port. It's a fairly populated region of the country, but also not as popular as Yangon. I think initially we can hit the initial demand around Irrawaddy and Paphian, which is the section right around the blue dot, and then eventually hit to Yangon for a larger market. We're going to start, we think, right now as a thesis with barge fuel around the country. In later phases, we want this to be an anchor to develop the entire country. And I think a lot of people who are involved in the World Bank, back to the financial institutions, who have an interest in developing the country, that's also something that appeals to them. So here's the close-up of what it would look like. We want to start something small, 500 acres. This is in the bay here, and have slight industry around it. And then ideally we want this to grow and grow and grow and grow. But we really, as my partner will describe shortly, 2 phases. Start something quick, and then have a plan for something massive in the future. So it's really 2 tracks, and this is the first track. How do we do this quickly? We'd love your feedback throughout the day and in the future after this meeting, and how we can do it. So what's exciting, something that's been a concern for a lot of those who will fund the project, is this in an area of ethnic tension, and it's not. It's also an area that's quite poor, massive rice-producing areas with potential for long-term exports. But it's really in need of energy. There's not much infrastructure around it. There's not a transmission line in the grid. It needs economic growth, it needs jobs, and this would help provide it. Mr. Thuray and APCOL have already conducted a preliminary environmental and social impact assessment. And the population around the areas is not, in the initial phase, it's quite small, so I don't think that'll be a huge problem. And we're also putting together already a strong CSR program. And how do we make sure that the local population is happy with this? In countries like this, I'm sure everyone knows it's often very difficult to have a large industrial project. Have the people support it. And Mr. Thuray has already putting together some built clinics and has a philanthropy program in the area. So he's been doing that for years. But we're developing a much more comprehensive program long-term for this. And then we've talked to the World Bank about, for the long-term project, resettlement action plan, doing it properly. So we're thinking about this early, and I think what distinguishes this project from a lot of the other ones we're seeing, all this is being thought out early, people who've done this in the past, and I think that will help quite a lot with getting financing. So the key takeaways I want you to take from this before we go into the details is this is really an opportunity to work with a local firm that's established, that has gas stations around the country, that's done large telecom projects, and it's also been thoroughly vetted at a multitude of levels and quite a lot of very high levels. The country, as I think everyone knows, is poised for rapid economic expansion. And there's really pent-up demand for fuel and goods. And as more sanctions are lifted and more infrastructure there, I think that's going to happen quite quickly. And then the geography of the port is really provides a critical comparative advantage. It's fairly natural, and the cost of dredging will be much lower than anything else in the country for its competition. So thank you. I'm turning it over to my partner JP to get you into more of the details of the process and where we're looking to go.
So I'm going to talk through 3 things in this section of the presentation. First, I'm going to review the significant developments that APCOL has enjoyed in the last 6 months in advancing this project. Second, I'm going to address why we're ready to start building a consortium for the project right now. And then third, I'm going to go through how we're going to refine the scope of the project and how we're going to finalize the consortium in the coming months to move forward. I'll talk about what the process looks like and what the immediate next steps are in moving forward. So why are we starting to build the consortium now? First and foremost, back in September of 2015, APCOL received revised rights to the project. They were updated, and the rights that they received in September to a full feasibility study for a port and for an industrial zone in the Abu Dhabi region has initiated an exclusive licensing process for APCOL, which I'll talk through more in a moment. Second, we are on the precipice of signing a letter of intent with the Chief Minister's office. We expect to see that delivered next month in February of 2016. And this is the next critical development. With the signing of this letter of intent, it will initiate a 2-year exclusive rights to APCOL for implementation of both the port and the industrial zone. So as soon as that is signed next month, that is going to kick off the 2-year window. That's one of the reasons that we're interested in moving quite quickly as soon as that's accomplished, so that we can demonstrate progress has been made on the project within that 2-year period. Simultaneously, with all of the progress they've made in Myanmar, we've been advancing the project in Washington, D.C. to ensure that we have support with key departments, elements of the U.S. government and international finance community, culminating in APCOL's visit in December, this past December, where we met with a broad group of senior stakeholders ranging from the Department of Defense to the Department of State, Department of Commerce, OPIC. We went up to Capitol Hill, met with Senator McCain and Speaker Ryan's office, all in an effort to make sure that we were aligned with their priorities and ensure their support on the project moving forward. I'd highlight from our work in Washington 3 key drivers on why this project has become a priority in D.C. First, I don't think this will surprise anyone in the room, but there's broad interest among the development finance institutions to find legitimate infrastructure projects that they can finance in the region. It's a priority at the World Bank and with OPIC. Second, as Brendan mentioned, this is APCOL and Mr. Thurain are fully vetted with state and private sector interests and law firms that we've secured, and there's no issue on the SDN list. And as it particularly relates to the port project, there's great interest in Washington to have an SDN-free alternative to some of the existing ports in Myanmar. So that's one of the reasons that the State Department and Treasury has expressed significant interest in seeing this move forward quickly. Even recognizing that a port of this nature takes many, many years to develop, just seeing it move forward can change the equation as it relates to the sanctions list in Myanmar. And then finally, third, there's just broad enthusiasm post the recent elections in identifying a large-scale, high-impact project that can be championed and can be showcased for international support. And from Congress to the departments in Washington, they're searching for that next opportunity that they can put forth and support. And so we certainly see on the timing and benefit from that. Okay. So project structure. As Brendan said, we're interested in starting small so that we can move quickly. The first phase of the project will be focused on swift implementation, show that we can have advancement within the 2-year period and make good on the license that APCOL has. As we set to expand the port, there's a very wide variety of facilities that we've spoken to interested parties about and potentially include. I'll walk through some of those in a moment. But one of the most critical differentiators between the first phase, the small port, and the second phase, where we grow to the international port, is the pursuit of development finance backing. As you all know, that's a lengthy process. It's one that we intend to kick off very soon, in the next few months. But for that first phase to see ground break, we're looking at private financing, move swiftly through due diligence process, and we'll use the DFI financing and the larger port project on a simultaneous track. I think that one of the things that we see ideally the consortium that build between phase 1 and phase 2 would be the same group of partners. We certainly are interested in offering preferred economics to those that join the group early, and that's something that we can walk through exactly what that looks like in some private meetings today and beyond. But we also recognize that some of you in the room may feel that your firms are better positioned for one phase or the other, and we're certainly interested in speaking with you about that. So whether it's phase 1 or phase 2, we're interested in having those conversations and get it underway today. So the specific timeline we're looking at. You'll see we have the first phase, a small port on the top, phase 2, the expanded port on the bottom. What we are interested in securing, the next step is expression of interest. Our firm deadline there is February 28th. We've already received some, which is fantastic. We're prepared to, we can print out customized expression of interest today and sign them if there's interest. To be honest, the end of February deadline is a bit later than we would like, but we shifted it out a little bit in recognition of Chinese New Year and the impact that they have operations in Singapore. But we really want to receive those as quickly as possible. The expressions of interest that we're interested in receiving, they're non-binding. They can be very generic to broad interest, both phase 1 and or phase 2. We don't need to detail that at this stage in the game. But we want to collect those for three key reasons. First is that by having by submitting the expression of interest, that will give us the group that we will keep updated on the developments both in Myanmar and Washington. Obviously, key project developments like the letter of intent from the Chief Minister's office. All of those key things will go to this group that have submitted the expression of interest. Second, as we stand up a data room, we hope to see go live in the next month or so. Again, that access will be granted to those that have presented that initial expression. And then third, it opens the door to that two-way conversation we're very interested in having. Right? Not only I'm sure that we'll have a brief Q&A session, but I'm sure that we'll walk away with many more questions than we can possibly answer today. So we're interested in fielding those, but also, as Brendan said, we're very interested in revising the scope project with the advice and technical expertise on viability from the groups that are represented here today. So that two-way conversation as we refine the scope project will commence with this group. With phase 1, expression of interest, February 28th, and then we very quickly into expedited financing and project implementation. On the bottom, though, for phase 2, after the expression of interest have been submitted, we're going to very quickly to work with USDA, submit the concept note. We don't need the consortium finalized for that step. We'll move forward with a broad scope on the project. The USDA financing will be for the full feasibility study. So, as we said, we've done a commissioned preliminary feasibility study with local firms, but the USDA financing will be for the long, full-year life cycle feasibility study on the project. Immediately after that, in June, toward the end of June, we intend to submit a business plan to the development finance institutions. At that point, we really do want to have a revised consortium so that we can list finalized partners in the business plan.
At that point, we hope to have a revised project scope and can submit a preliminary financial model alongside the business plan. As soon as that's complete, we intend to submit preliminary applications to OPIC, IFC, potentially other development finance institutions in the July timeframe. So get that process underway over the summer. So it's obviously simultaneous. We'll have the small port effort underway by then. But we want to move forward and get these applications submitted because the due diligence process is thorough and lengthy, and we want to kick that off as expeditiously as possible. As I note in the bottom, and I'm sure that perhaps maybe a few folks in the front row, but no one else can probably read it. The other important thing that EOIs is based on the response that we get by the end of February, that will affect our decision on how we'll down select further and what competitive process we may pursue through the course of the spring. Okay. So as many of you probably saw, we had exciting news a month ago with the discovery of gas at the SYH-1 exploration well, which is located in an A6 block that you can see in the map there on the right. It's almost right directly offshore from our port location. We planned that way, of course. It's very close, 94 kilometers. As you can imagine, we've received many more inquiries in the last 3 weeks after the discovery was announced from the oil and gas industry. We've had many folks ask about the ability to put oil and gas supply and maintenance depot at port, which is something we're very interested in doing. It's something that we're interested in exploring in phase one to support the growth of that industry as we expect more oil wells to come online. So I'm not going to run through the entire list of facilities that have been under consideration. Obviously, we've had many varied conversations with different interested parties about different facilities that we built in this port and accompanying industrial zone. But as we'll hear in a moment from Navitas Resources, supply and maintenance depot for the oil and gas industry along with the industrial zone to be economically viable in the near term in that phase one. But right now, all of these are on the table. And so this is the process that we look to embark on with you all is defining what's technically viable and what we want to pursue financing for. So to conclude, if you were to remember just two things from my portion of the presentation, first, APCOL really wants to identify long-term partners that can think long-term about this project and that are certainly capable of providing technical expertise to examine the viability of facilities that could be deployed on the ground. That's what we're really hoping to do over the next couple of months. And then second, again, reiterate the importance of the EOIs. We're going to hold very firm on that process to be that first pre-qualification effort on identifying our partners. As I said, we can finalize those today, but if you prefer, we'll send out instructions to those that drop business cards out front on how we collect them after the conference. So with that, Myanmar is certainly a country in transition. To address both the political and the economic opportunities in a country such as Myanmar that is moving so rapidly, we're thrilled to have our partners at Navitas Resources join us. They put together a wonderful analysis and risk assessment for investment in the country that was out on the front table. I hope that all of you grab a copy on your way in. If not, we have more, I see. And so if there are folks that don't have it, we can distribute it. I really think their analysis is of value, not just folks that are interested in this project, but for investment across the country. So without further ado, it's my pleasure to introduce Mr. Jeremy Navitas. Yep.
Thank you for the introduction, JP. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. We have done some analysis on the Myanmar market, as JP said. What I want to do, first of all, before Tom speaks, is go through some of the macro issues. This is just an independent analysis of the country we put together. Tom will then look at the oil and gas situation in detail, refining side, storage side, etc. And then we put together our interpretation, if you like, of the risk-reward scenario in some key areas: economy, policy, regulation, oil and gas sector, and what is becoming increasingly important, not just in Myanmar, but in Southeast Asia generally, the environmental side, areas looking at sustainable development. Myanmar is no different. Indeed, the incoming government of Aung San Suu Kyi made it very clear that she wants her government to develop a sustainable development process in Myanmar. So environment is going to be very important, and as JJ mentioned earlier, environmental impact assessments become very important indeed. In the last 2 weeks, the country has actually revised its CIA process to actually beef this up to make sure that it's a more thorough process, that the projects that actually are developed are meeting environmental objectives. So the environment is going to become an increasingly important consideration in any project that is developed. So on this sort of this part, if you like, the talk, I want to look at the infrastructure in Myanmar, the economy, which is very important, obviously, policy regulation, looking not only at the policy reforms that were introduced under President Hussein, also what we expect will be the broad policy under the incoming NLD government, and also look at some of the energy policies. Myanmar has a master energy plan which is trying to enact, and also submitted to INDC, UNFCCC ahead of the Paris Climate Summit last year. So it's signed up and committed to having an energy policy and environmental policy that are actually running hand in hand together. And then some concluding comments before Tom will look in more detail at the oil and gas side and on the risk-reward scenario. So I think this is not news to anyone, but Myanmar is an undeveloped economy. It's been undeveloped for political reasons for the best part of the last 5 decades. That is now changing, has been changing since 2011, 2012, which we'll touch on in a moment. But the other important thing is that Myanmar is potentially the greatest resource in Southeast Asia. Not just on fossil fuels. Fossil fuels has significant reserves, both gas and oil, but other commodities in terms of its mining industry is strong, but its renewable resources are tremendous. Has great biomass potential. Indeed, a lot of the rural energy is from wood biomass. It has great geothermal potential. It has solar potential, which you would expect in Southeast Asia. It has wind capacity potential along the coastline and also onshore, because the wind speeds in Myanmar are stronger than they would be elsewhere in Southeast Asia. So you can actually use commercially developed turbines that have wind capacity. And of course, it has significant hydro potential. In fact, from a resource potential, hydro is probably the main resource it has. The problem, of course, we've got the four main rivers in Myanmar. We've got the The hydro potential, unfortunately, you've got environmental restrictions, probably going to limit how much hydro you can actually develop. Look at that in a bit more detail at the moment. Agriculture has been the main breadwinner, if you like, for the Burmese economy. 7% of the labour force employed, contributing currently around about a third of GDP. The numbers coming down a bit. The problem that Myanmar has faced in the agricultural sector, particularly rice, is that it sells low-grade rice, and it's competing in Asia with other sellers exporters of rice. But there is a potential to actually upgrade into high-value rice, where you can then sell into markets such as America, Africa, and Europe. But clearly, agriculture is very important. That's where most of the economic returns have been. Although as we're seeing across Asia at the moment, a lot of these countries, Myanmar is really the services industry, which is going to take a large part of the economic output as going forward. So that's a brief, if you like, rundown of where Myanmar is now from an infrastructure perspective. Underdeveloped, but significant potential, but the potential is only fully realised with external investment. And we'll look a bit later on about FDI. This is the Myanmar Master Engineering Plan. So here we are. This was the actual installed generation capacity as of the end of December 2015. So, as I said, hydro, that's part of 70%, coal's already there, 20%. So they do coal-fired plants in Myanmar. And gas. So really, not a diverse generation market. The other thing to note about this market is that it's very inefficient as well. It's old, it's aged, it's prone to not working, and as with some other developing economies in Asia, brownouts, load shedding is quite complex. So you can see that the Energy Master Plan that there's a significant increase in generation capacity going forward in the next 15 years, from 5,000 megawatts to the best part of 24,000, significant increase. Most of it is actually going to be in coal-fired capacity. Gas capacity will increase, but as a share of the actual generation will actually reduce. Between now and 2030, the government plans to invest in almost 10 gigawatts of coal-fired plants. The reason for the investment in coal-fired plants is that most of the energy, current hydro plants, are largely in the north. They obviously run down the four major rivers. The red dots there, the small amounts of gas-fired generation. And if you look very closely, you possibly see one coal-fired plant hiding over in Shan State on the right-hand side. Why does this government want to invest in coal? Quite simply because there's no generation capacity in the south country. It's all in the north. So carry on invest hydro. You've got to invest in transmission infrastructure to bring that electricity down south. It's not very cost effective, so they're going to invest in coal. You can't see the deep south country runs down Thailand, but there is no generation capacity there. Okay, so the coal in Myanmar is in the centre. They're going to use the coal, take it down south, the infrastructure. But that's their rationale in terms of developing generation capacity in the country. And of course, the increasing gas capacity. The issue with gas, though, is how much of the gas do you actually keep on exporting. Currently, if we look at the gas basins off the coast of Myanmar, we've got three fields that are currently producing. Yadina at the top. Yawika and Yetagun, which the gas goes into Thailand. But as the slide that showed you a moment ago, you've got a lot of development blocks off the coast of Myanmar where they're looking for new gas supply. The issue really comes down to what does Myanmar do with gas reserves? Does it carry on exporting gas primarily? 80% of it exported, most of it goes to China. the balance of that exports goes to Thailand. Our view is that it will be no reduction in the gas going to China. Too much strategic partnership with Chinese. But we do think that there will be potential for reduced gas going to Thailand. In fact, the government accepts it's going to be the case, which is why it's looking to invest more secure supplies of energy into the future. And we think that the reduced gas going to Thailand will actually go to the domestic market. So we'll see a more sort of unique gas market to actually support the investment in gas-fired generation which the government's looking to do. So just to give you an idea, this is the current pipeline infrastructure with respect to Thailand. So we've got gas from the Yadun field goes into Yangon, and then also serves through and goes across the border and just outside that's where the gas goes into the Thai market, exported from Myanmar. And that's been in operation for quite some time, and then last couple of years, gas being exported into the Chinese market, and capacity has been increasing and expected to increase further with the gas-fired fields that JP mentioned, which have been developed by Woodside and Total, that is likely to feed into that particular pipeline and will be exported primarily into the Chinese market. The rationale that the Myanmar has for exporting most of its gas is basically financial. It wants to actually realise the revenue from exporting its gas, so it can invest that revenue elsewhere its infrastructure. And also the aging structure in Myanmar is such that you don't have good source of efficiency of bringing gas inside. One of course does have it, talking before that its main export market rise. The other main export market, of course, gas, and the gas price has slumped dramatically since the summer of 2014. So gas export revenue is obviously a consideration to the government at the moment. Turning on to the economy, just some key points here. Something that we do a fair amount of work on the socio-economic framework. This is very important across Asia, and particularly developing economies. Myanmar is no different from other economies such as Laos, Cambodia, Vietnam, in the sense that it's very much a rural economy. A lot of wealth is sent to urban areas. As far as Myanmar is concerned, the major cities of Yangon, Mandalay, Navitas, that's where a lot of the wealth will be located. But what makes Myanmar different from some of these other countries mentioned? You don't have the migration from rural areas to urban areas. In fact, only about 36% population in urban areas in Myanmar. So there's a lot of rural population, and that's where you need investment going. That's where investment in Myanmar is going to benefit because you don't have electrification, 30-35% electrification. The government electrification by 2030. It's going to be a tall ask, but it's a bit aspirational. But you need to distribute the wealth in you need to support the rural areas. That's why infrastructure is important to developing the economy. The other thing that Myanmar has in common with a number of developed economies is high government subsidies. Most of this relates to the electricity tariff. Myanmar has subsidised electricity significantly. It did actually pass the tariffs last year, but sort of high government. So again, when you have a high subsidy going in, it's all very well you're protecting the people, if you like, which will spending money that you invest elsewhere in the economy. Okay, now the other thing that Myanmar has in common with other countries and regions, for example, Indonesia, is that when governments try and remove the tariff, there's strong opposition because the public become used to this subsidy, this low cost of energy. So if you like, one of the tests for the incoming government is that what's it going to do with the subsidy? Is it actually going to remove it, try to adjust it? from its current level, and would it be politically so. And the third final point is that there's a strong foreign direct investment going out. Last years, a lot of money coming in. As you would expect, once sanctions started to become lifted, Myanmar became an attractive location for FDI. And the FDI is critical. The investment coming outside is critical to growing the infrastructure, enabling Myanmar to realise its undoubted potential that it's got there. The flip side is that it has a wide current deficit. One of the problems that Myanmar has, it does have a credit rating, but we are currently in discussion, being advised by a couple of banks to get a credit rating. When it gets a credit rating called bonds, it can start to address its current account. So it's on the right track to address potential weaknesses in its economy, which is becoming more transparent, and to move the country forward. Just look at Myanmar. Try and compare it with other countries. Probably the best two countries to compare Myanmar with Laos and Thailand, because it's obviously borders with Myanmar, second largest economy in Southeast Asia. Laos because it's very much a developing economy, along where we would expect. So looking at GDP, percentage annual growth, the big performer clearly is Laos, past 5 years, 8%, from a very low base. Thailand, as we can see, its economy has just growth has been falling substantially, and not expected to pick up really in the next year or two. Wouldn't necessarily say that's all due to military government. Certainly, some would argue that's sort of unable to manage the economy efficiently. And then we look at Myanmar, and over 8%. Strong growth. Some people 2016 growth just under 7. Some would say around 8. Whichever way you look, anywhere you'll get growth between 6 and 8% on a year-by-year basis. That's strong and robust, and that supports the growth. So the takeaway from this is that Myanmar's economy is growing. Thailand isn't. You look at those two countries, you say, well, Myanmar's getting the benefit, Thailand's not getting at the moment. The investment going into Thailand, it's going to Myanmar. Myanmar is growing at a faster rate, which encourages more confidence, more money comes in. We were talking about wealth distribution, and clearly here you can just put the Myanmar situation into stark contrast. You look at the wealth in Thailand, and then you compare that with developing economies such as Laos and Myanmar. So what Myanmar wants to do, it aspires to create that kind of wealth per capita that it sees in Thailand at the moment. So that's the socio-economic weakness at the moment, wealth distribution, which is obviously why you need to invest in infrastructure, why projects such as port have a massive benefit to the economy by putting wealth into the hands of the local community. This is the FDI negative balance payment. This is current US dollars. Again, the takeaway from this is that FDI into Myanmar is growing at a faster rate than it's going now, and we can also see there's been some in the FDI going into Thailand. So again, Myanmar, if you like, is not to benefit from the poor economic conditions and the lack of economic confidence in its neighbour in Thailand. So there's another opportunity for Myanmar to move forward. And just look at this as a metric going on a percentage basis, and again you see here that don't we do 2000 context. The reason the 2004 figure is small is not because FDI reduced, because the economy grew much faster year on year, so the metric is reduced. Again, it shows you that FDI as a percentage of GDP is falling in Thailand, and it's actually becoming more robust in Myanmar. So in other words, all the indicators are the economy in Myanmar is going in the right direction. There's more growing economic confidence in the country, which all supports investment going forward into the future. Just to talk you through some key points like policy regulation. This is obviously critical. As we've discussed, as we know, Myanmar policy perspective has been very opaque over the past 4 or 5 decades. This started to change in the last 4 to 5 years under President Singh, and we expect it to continue and through government as well. So I want to look at three, if you like, policy areas. Energy policy, and we have a national energy master plan that's actually been implemented since 2013. If you like, current outgoing government policy reforms, and for what we believe will be the key elements of the incoming government's policy when it takes office at the beginning of April. So this is a list of the policy objectives that you'll put in place under the current government. So as you would expect, the focus is on extracting value out of natural resources and increasing private participation. And this is what sets Myanmar apart from say Thailand. In Thailand, you have limited private participation, you have no private ownership, you have local ownership. Where Myanmar is benefiting is even under the previous government. You know, we'll talk about foreign investment. Foreigners can own assets, they can lease land. It's more private, it's more incentive private operators to invest in the market. And this is essential. Myanmar is going to develop its significant energy resources. It needs to have private participation, not just the money, but also the expertise to develop and to help educate and assist the local human capital to move this forward. And this is what these sort of policies set out. The statistics. I mean, it's been very difficult. If you look at Myanmar to actually get reliable data in the market. It's not published. So if you have more reliable data, transparency, we know what we're dealing with. So again, getting stats out there, so we know what the situation of the market is. Encouraging utilization resources. This is very important to Myanmar. It's a way of diversifying the energy resources in Myanmar, taking away that dependence on the hydro market and moving to the future. So that development resources is very looking against the future sustainable going forward. Energy efficiency again. Now there is really a great deal of energy efficiency policy at the moment in Myanmar. But again, this is what the country needs to do because what you'll see in Myanmar is that you'll see demand correlated very closely to economic growth. But the problem you've got is that you're going to need to invest more in energy infrastructure. What you need to do is reduce energy demand growth through energy efficient processes. Therefore, you have a better and more secure and more reliable market. So energy efficiency is important. And then possibly one of the most important elements in this is Myanmar is reaching outside of its borders. It wants international cooperation. It wants to learn from experiences. It's not a closed market. So research institutions not just associated internally, bringing expertise into the country and learning from best practices elsewhere. For example, here in Singapore. So Myanmar is on a progressive transition from a closed to an open market that is looking outside of its borders, welcoming ideas, experience, and of course capital to move the market forward. What it wants to be is a national energy market, which has a case. So under the last 5 years, since 2011, political prisoners have been freed, obviously very important. in effect, that has been the main driver started to loosen sanctions in place for much of the past decades. A loosening media controls as well. It's all very well releasing political prisoners, showing committed to a more sort of free society. But freedom is very important in what the media can actually say. So you've actually seen the media controls, you've seen more investment, for example, in the telecom industry, whereby you have competition now in the mobile telephone industry. So the media has become a very important sector, and it's been there's reduced controls there. There's more progressively free speech but without doubt, the most important reform was the foreign investment law. Okay. Now the foreign investment law was in place before. It's been revised, and it's going to be revised again probably next year as well. And this is giving greater guarantees to foreign investors coming into Myanmar. It means that you can now lease land for a longer period of time. That you not have restrictions on what your investment actually does in terms of exports or import substitution. You fully own ventures. Tax breaks. So in other words, the government has made investing in Myanmar a much more attractive proposition. And to come in now and to invest in various sectors. It's also introduced a new category of visa in certain sectors whereby foreigners can have visa to live in Myanmar as well. So again, not only invest in Myanmar, but also there as well in sectors they could take it important for economic development. So again, it's becoming a much more open market than it has been in the past. And then what do we think is going to happen? Well, we were lucky in a way. We got a translation of a manifesto document the NLD put out in the November election, which sort of went through key points, and it's produced a detailed annex report. So rather than go through each, I'll just pick out a few here. The key theme, as we would expect, sustainable development, national reconciliation. National reconciliation started under President saying clearly Suu Kyi wants to continue. They want to develop the country sustainably. Central to developing is human capital. Okay. As we've said already, we've got a social framework that's rather weak and needs investment. So investment in health and education is critical. Key policies that are going to drive Myanmar, as well as bringing external capital and equities in. It's actually empowering the population as well. So there's a lot of Burmese left the country in the last 10, 20 years. Myanmar wants those to come back with their expertise to help push the country forward. So human capital is very important. And then in terms of specific policy, what the NLD wants to do is to promote what it refers to as agricultural growth. Okay, so you're going to use agriculture to grow the economy, so revenue from agriculture to invest into other areas, manufacturing primarily, and services. We're talking about a port and a special economic zone, domestic market. This is manufacturing. This is what's going to be growing the market but added value manufacturing. Not taking the Chinese approach, funding the market products and its economy suffer accordingly, but added value products. And the same with value services. That's going to be the future of economic growth in Myanmar. That's what's going to benefit its export market. And the other thing is that devolution of responsibility. So rather than having centralised responsibility for the whole country, devolve it. So the region problems there have their own control. So you get almost like a federal approach. And bearing in mind Myanmar is very much a regional country in terms of ethnic population, of course, some of the areas. A federal approach probably has a better chance of working longer term for the economic development of the country. Now, just want to talk about this. This is the introduction forward to the INDC that Myanmar submitted to the United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change, where the Minister basically commits Myanmar to climate change because as he said, it's extreme risk from extreme climate events. So Myanmar has to mitigate, but primarily has to adapt to the risks of extreme events going forward. These are pulled from the IAPC that Myanmar submitted. One of the key benefits Myanmar has at the moment is a natural carbon sink. The forestry has basically absorbs emissions it produces. So in other words, emissions neutral from that perspective. Clearly, one of the main objectives under the sort of policy is to protect forest areas. So you actually maintain carbon sink as much as possible. He wants to increase hydro capacity. Clearly, utilise the resources it has. Renewable electrification again. This is by 2030, so 30% for electrification by 2030. So there are differences between the targets that the government puts in place. So that's why we say think that electrification will become 100% by 2020. But progress will be made. But the key thing is that it has a policy whereby looking for better management of industrial emissions. So this is the energy efficiency, if you like, of the objective is to actually manage the emissions from industrial processes. As you increase manufacturing output, you don't do so at the expense of the environment. And from a local regional perspective to provide more energy efficient. I mean, most of the population uses so again, it's more efficient. It's a step in the right direction in terms of its environmental commitments to the region and both nationally. Put into context. So at the moment, Myanmar's got low emissions, benefits from hydroelectric. Low economic, small GDP, etc. This will obviously change because you're going to increase wealth, so going to be more investment in appliances, cars, manufacturing going to increase. So emissions will increase in the short term. Energy efficiency is a major challenge. At the moment, the government really addressing energy efficiency from an industrial perspective, which is the key area, but clearly it's got to communicate this across all sectors. Low energy intensity. Again, as came with carbon intensity, these are likely to increase in the medium term, unless you have effective measures in place to reduce consumption demand. But the point is that emissions in Myanmar at the moment is not a critical issue. It's how you manage them going forward in relation to growing the economy critical. And given that central policy theme is sustainable development, becomes important that this is managed effectively going forward. And just some concluding remarks. So as far as the economy is concerned, it has the potential to be a leading Asian economy. And given that the Asian economic community formally commenced on the 31st of December, there's no reason why this is good timing for Myanmar. It's had 4 or 5 years of reform. It's got a new government committed to maintaining that process. There's no reason why Myanmar can't become progressively a leading economy in the Asian region. Policy regulation. There's clearly a high public expectation that the incoming government will deliver. It would be remiss of me to say there are concerns that there might not be sufficient technocrats to enact those reforms, but on balance, I think we can say that we believe this process will carry forward new momentum. And finally, our environment. This is a long-term challenge. Medium-term challenge. Emissions are low, but you've got to have some kind of flexibility on the growth of the economy. You've got to prioritise what's important. Rightly, they're prioritising economic growth. So there's going to be some impact on environment in medium longer term. Sustainable development is going to make sure that the environment issues are protected. And that we're going to have a coffee break now. We're going to have a coffee break now, and then we will resume with this about 15 minutes. Thank you very much.